The youngest I've had was a 3-year-old girl who was shot in the head. And it's real hard to function, you know, because you're just sort of in awe of how someone so young and so fragile can have that happen to them.
EMS 22 William for the cardiac arrest, 22 William.
My first night on the job, I just walked up to a door like I would my neighbor's door on Long Island, just calmly knocked on it. My partner grabbed me and said, I will never repeat this to you again. You stand at the side of the door and you knock and you be prepared because you don't know what's on the other side.
Yeah, what do you mean? 16, I got a
14 in them.
You have to be able to turn off your feelings. You can't allow yourself to have any feelings and to get involved. You have to be able to do your job.
And they do their jobs, but they don't get respect like police officers or firefighters. And as for pay, well, they're not even on par with sanitation workers. They are the unsung public servants of an unsung corps, New York City's emergency medical service. Hello, I'm Chris Borgen. When you're sick or injured and dial 911, as some 700,000 will do this year, it is the technicians and the paramedics of EMS who come running. It's a service we almost take for granted. And here on Webster Avenue in the Bronx is the forgotten station of this forgotten service, the Webster Outpost. Operating out of this once condemned garage, Webster can almost be called the Fort Apache of EMS. Over the next half hour, we'll take you inside of this maverick outpost, inside of the ambulances, inside of the hearts and the minds of some of the people who work here, the Lifesavers.
Male assaulted with a bat. Male assaulted with a bat bleeding.
Anybody doing anything for the bleeding?
All right, 10-4. Female labor. Female labor. 11-year-old male seizures. 71-year-old female. 29-year-old difficulty breathing dialysis. Elderly chest pains. ID is 2133.
Head press. Again.
No pulses, Megan. We're going to continue.
Okay. Did anybody see her go down?
No, she was already lying on the side here.
She was a heavy-set woman. The basic unit was on the scene requesting paramedics. And we didn't know it was a cardiac arrest. We just knew it was a cardiac. We immediately got her out of the bathroom so we'd have room to work.
A smaller tube, maybe?
I could see before, but I can't see now.
Yeah.
Let me take a listen. My name is Megan Iannuzzi, and I'm a paramedic. I work with EMS at Webster Outpost. I'm not hearing anything on the left. I have a husband, 2 kids. Raised in a big family, 1 of 12. 6 boys, 6 girls, youngest of the 6 girls. Irish to the max. You hear it? The resistance?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
It's really echoing. It's not in the belly, right?
Huh?
Sure it's not in the belly? Research tells us we only have, a scant few minutes to be able to try and restore their vital signs.
Want to stop pumping for a second?
My name is Mark Jones. I grew up in the Boston area.
All right, great. Keep pumping.
I'm 32 years old, and I've been with EMS for a little over 3.5 years now. And most of that time I've been working in the Bronx.
I think that's going to work a lot better.
I know that I have personally saved some lives.
Doctor's on the phone over there.
You got him now?
Yep.
66, right?
Yep.
I had a man in Queens who was clinically dead.
Yeah.
And he was in a doctor's office, and the man went into cardiac arrest, and the doctor looked at me and he said, "What do we do?" And I looked at the doctor and I said, "You're kidding, right?" We brought the man back, and he walked out of the hospital about 5 weeks later, and I did go up to see him when he was in the hospital, and that was very nice, very rewarding. I don't even think he understood that he was dead, that he had no heartbeat and no pulse. But those situations are rare. So we do have her intubated. There is a line. We've gone through standing orders. She's had a bicarb epi.
Just turn it off for a second.
Mel, are you okay?
The reason we look like we're not moving fast is because we have to try very hard to have everything under control. And it's not really that we're moving real slow, you know. It's that we have to be in control. And the public has to understand that.
Good.
The thing that struck both my partner and I odd was throughout this whole ordeal, this woman's clinically dead. You know, we have half of her clothes off, and we're working on her feverishly, and we're in a Jehovah's Witnesses hall, and these people just are going on as if nothing's going on within their hall, and they're continuing with their services. And as we were removing the patient and taking her out to the bus, to the ambulance, one of the men offered me his card and said, you know, would you like to find the true light? And I said, I'm very busy right now. I don't have the time.
She's a big woman, guys. Bottom. 2, 3.
I had ideas of what I thought the South Bronx was going to be like, but my ideas were no good. I mean, I walked in the first night and was culture shocked for about a week.
You all set, Megan?
Yeah.
All right.
You'd see kids, you know, down in the Hunts Point area, girls 13, 12 years old, walking around naked in the middle of the winter, you know, as prostitutes, and they were addicts, and they felt no pain. They were higher than kites. And you'd see young kids out on street corners, you know, at 2 in the morning, and you'd say, where are their parents? Why are they out here?
It's a whole different society, and it's a different way of living. When I first started there, I was morally outraged at what people can do to one another. The trauma, the violence that comes from family disputes and from alcohol and drug abuse and just street crime is phenomenal. It's, you know, it's overwhelming to find that life is so cheap.
2 William, 1 Adam, 82 to 27 to Lincoln. Requesting medical standby, 66-year-old female, cardiac arrest. No response to therapies. I'm standing by. ETA is about 4 minutes.
After a while, you understand people are people, whether you put them on Long Island, Connecticut, Manhattan, South Bronx, wherever you put them.
Okay, she's 2, but she's very, very tight, and she needs suctioning also.
There's a real need. I like where I work.
Since when we got there.
You and Keith did your usual par excellence performance.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always good to hear you guys on the back up there, believe me.
Absolutely, always. Always.
You never get used to them, though. They're the hard ones to lose. It's the heavy trauma in that you could see, but when it's the actual CPR and that, it can never stomach it. You never get rid of that feeling. But all in a day's work, they say.
Mel, get home safe, huh?
I will.
All right.
You too, Mark. Have a good night.
See you tomorrow.
Roll call. All right, item number 1 today, ladies and gentlemen, is driving vehicles for repair. Okay?
I think Webster Outpost definitely represents the area that we're working in.
Webster, when everybody comes here and they see the conditions of it, they don't want to stay here. Buildings run down, the ceilings leak, the water don't work, no heat in the garage. In the wintertime, we could ice skate inside here if water gets on the floor. But the people work good together.
Do I have my helmet? No, 3.5 years. I was never issued a helmet. Never issued a helmet.
That's all right. You're still in practice. I was in Webster, I think, about a month. And we were all just sitting around talking with the supervisor. And in walks one of the guys running. And he says, you know, somebody shot on the corner. And right down the corner from where we work, there have been numerous shootings, you know, or stabbings. And it's right in the middle of where you work. It's right on the street. It's an outpost. It's right there.
I've been shot at exactly 8 times. Shot at. I mean, penetrating bullets through the walls of the vehicle and in the hallways 8 times, almost being killed and shot at. And one time we had right on the hood of the ambulance. For whatever reasons, drug-related or dispute. A guy was thrown right up on top of the hood of the ambulance, and his brain's blown out.
10-4, we are responding. Woo! Let's go, Michael, get me there.
My name is Michael Harper. I was raised in Harlem and grew up in Harlem and the Bronx. I've been in EMS 14 years, and I'm 34 years old. I'm a Pisces, one of those people.
Now, you remember that picture, Back to the Future, where we going? We don't need wheels.
My name is Wanda Morales. I'm 26. I live in the Soundview area. I'm a single mother with a 8-year-old son named Christopher. Been working for EMS for over a year now.
We had a call come in. It was confirmed male shot. So the adrenaline flew up to the top of the head. Don't come around that bend. Thank you.
We're rushing to the call. A shooting, my God. Who knows how many people are hurt? Who knows where they shot? Are they dead? Are they alive? You know, is it drug-related? Is it a homicide? What's going on?
Make it right here.
Yeah, baby, you got it. Just make it right here. Where the hell is the kid? Where? Where?
In the chest.
That's it? Okay.
Is it the only one? Only person?
And nobody else? All right. I'll check him out in the vehicle.
We don't want no one to be hurt, but after arriving on the scene and getting, your adrenaline flowing, you look around and say, holy shit, he's not even hurt. And someone on the scene looking at you, they would say, would you expect somebody to be dead here?
You weren't shot anywhere else, just right there.
They don't understand the flow of adrenaline and energy that goes into a call like that.
So you were coming out of the store and then you were just shot at?
And strange as it may be, if we get a call in the same manner as the last call, it can't be explained. It really can't. The adrenaline and the concern goes right back to the same level. 88, to the boy, 88. I asked one of my co-workers, and he summed it up as saying, well, our problem is that we care. Look at me, open your eyes. Tell them open just eyes.
As soon as I come upon the scene, they say the paramedics are here. I tell them, no, we are not paramedics. We are basic life support, which is emergency medical technician.
So she's got bilateral wheezes.
We do provide oxygen if it is needed.
Yeah.
We are trained in CPR.
Does it feel sore right now, or it doesn't feel nothing?
It hurts. The car that struck him is still here, right?
Yeah. We're not going to give you no needle.
We're just going to check you out, okay?
We're not going to give you a needle, we promise.
Just want to make sure you're fine.
Usually with small children, they're afraid to go in an ambulance, or they see white uniforms, they get very frightened. Like this child who was tapped by a car very lightly. He didn't want to go. Mother don't want him to go. We asked him, any pain, any place. I don't have no pain, I'm not hurting. I said, we promise we won't give you a needle. We promise. Okay, then it hurts right here. And that's what small children do. You have to convince them that they're in safe hands before they have confidence in you.
So what's the story about?
I remembered it, and I read it before.
Being a mother, it's a little hard. Christopher knows that I work on a 9-to-5 schedule, which I'm very grateful for that. He's only bothered, like when I have to work on the weekends. Usually when I call him up, and I call him like 2 or 3 times a day, Mommy, what are you doing? Where are you? Did you have any good calls? When are you going to be home? That's his main thing. When are you going to be home?
Okay, you going to go down? You want to go down, Katie?
My children are both too young to understand what I really do, but I think that they help me because being a mom, you learn something new every day.
Underneath the bar.
There was a fire involving a big tenement building, and there were 3 children dead. And the one was a 5-week-old infant that, because the membranes surrounding the brain are so thin, the brain was exposed, the crib was completely burned, 2-year-old was melted to the mattress, the 2-year-old's body, and there was a 5-year-old who was laying in front of the door. When you open the door, you hit the 5-year-old. The mother had left the children alone in the apartment. She went out, they found the mother, and of course she was hysterical. She was also drunk. And I think that was the hardest thing I ever had to do, was put judgment aside and think, okay, here's a mother with 3 children. She's upset. She's in shock. But my first instinct was, I just felt like I wanted to hit her. How could you do that? How could you leave your children alone like that?
What do you say?
Please.
Thank you.
So I think being a mom just helps me a little bit. It gives me a little more insight.
I don't care if it rains or freezes, as long as I got my plastic jeans sitting on the dashboard of my car. Things may get all bad and scary. You gonna say it?
As long as I got my Virgin Mary. I don't know all the words.
You taught me all the words. You got me singing the damn song for a month.
EMS 22 William for the cardiac arrest. 22 William. ID is 2249. 2249. That's for the cardiac arrest.
22 William 63.
1040 Charlie.
Yo, the elevator work?
67-year-old female and a witnessed cardiac arrest by the BLS crew. She wasn't able to speak, but she did take a gasping last breath. I don't think so.
Huh?
I said, I don't think so. And that woman did not respond to therapy at all. She was flatlined the whole time. How about on your shoulder?
Mr. Jones? Or Mr. Jones?
Yeah.
Very sorry, but your friend, Miss Hope, has passed away.
We've done everything we can for her. We have the facilities here so that they can do in the emergency room, and I'm very sorry. Is there someone that you'd like us to call? Is
there anything we can do for you? All right, Mr. Jones, why don't you sit down for a second, okay? And let us get organized, and then we'll let you visit with her, okay? A part of the job that I don't like is having to talk to the families and inform them, you know, that their husband or wife of 42 years has passed away.
Follow the cops up the stairs.
Up there?
Working on an ambulance, particularly in an urban environment, is a young person's job.
Do you have asthma? Do you have any medical problems at all? What do you feel like now?
Every June and every January, there's such a turnover of paramedics. A lot of them are going to the police department. There's more job security with the police department. There's more pay. There's a lot more respect.
Listen, you got yourself upset. You're hyperventilating. You're breathing too fast.
I'm not sure how much a sanitation man makes. Right now, my pay is about $21,000 for being a paramedic, and a sanitation man's got to be over 30. And I've got 2 years on the job.
Resuscitation. One of them is going out of the picture. There's a basic unit on the scene requesting medics forthwith.
It's also the middle of the night. There's less ambulances.
Come on, man. Move your ass. Back to Jersey.
When we got here, they had him on CPR. Yeah.
All right, I'll get, you guys got your mask cans?
Mask cans?
I'll get the tube kit in line. Oh, beautiful.
They give him catheter?
Yeah, what do you mean?
16.
I got a 14.
I got a 14 in them. It just won't advance. It just won't advance. Hang on. That looks good. Oh, good. That's
You got it?
Got one.
You got it. Let's go.
Got it. Drop it.
Drop it.
Good, good. Go for the ride. Hold it down. I got it.
WCBS News Time is 9 minutes past 5 o'clock. Cloudy and foggy morning. Two men walking their dogs in East Chester in the Bronx were run down and killed by a hit-and-run car early this morning.
All right, slow and easy. Let's not fall.
34-year-old Oscar Torres died at the scene of the accident, and the second victim, 57-year-old man who's not yet been identified publicly, died at Jacoby Hospital.
It's a matter of trying to, give the advanced life support procedures, that may have helped. which in his case, I think the injury was just too extensive. So, a lot of good help.
A lot of people on that job. Usually you don't see that many people. You're lucky if you got you in a backup in PD.
As you can see, he was a little short-handed in the back, but nobody came in with him, so he's just unidentified
John Doe.
white male right now.
Working on an ambulance for the emergency medical service requires intense dedication. I'm sure we would all be grateful if Megan, Michael, Mark, or Wanda showed up at our homes in a medical emergency. But they, like too many other of their co-workers, are thinking of changing their jobs because the salaries at EMS are just too low. Lifesavers, like those we saw at the Webster Outpost, are doing their part in a tough frontline job. Are we, the city, and the people they serve, doing our part in keeping them on the job? I'm Chris Borgen. Join us next week at this time when we go inside of a major hospital to profile an emergency surgical team, a trauma unit. This will be the final broadcast in our series, The Lifesavers.
You thirsty or something? No. Then it's going to be ready in a little while, okay?
Is there another name for this? I don't drink, so it's not a pina colada, so it's a virgin colada. God, I hate that name.
Who's bigger, Sean or Katie? Me. Sean. How old is Sean?